Welcome to Inspire Change, a new inspirational and motivational broadcast that strives to empower men in a positive way. The entire series will consist of only 5 minutes. Yes, 5 minutes, as they are designed to educate, empower, and inspire even the busiest individual on the go over that first cup of coffee. Please join me in welcoming Gunter, international psychologist, author, speaker, and producer.
Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Inspire Change. So we're sliding quickly into the holiday season. So what I thought I'd do is to talk a little bit about how we can deal with the holiday seasons in a better way. Part of which is based on some mindfulness exercises or just some way of staying in touch a little bit more with yourself. One of the big problems with the holiday season is that it often causes stress. And instead of letting holiday demands exhaust and overwhelm you, how about we try a different approach? And that approach is more about being rather than doing. So it's going to allow you to connect more fully with the experience of the holidays, your families, and life in general. And therefore, you'll begin to feel more alive and present. Holiday activities can add stress in lots of different ways. And having more things to do, more disruptions to your daily routine, more disturbances of rest, sleep, more rest, and dietary changes, it gets tough. And for some people, one of the additional issues is loneliness. So for all those people, my heart goes out to you. So it's also a time when we really need to consider how we do things. So rather than just rushing around, it's about pacing it. So let me talk a little bit about the stress response, because I think if we understand what that's about, we can actually do something constructive with it. Essentially, the stress response is when there's an internal and external demand on us. Now, external is the obvious thing. So it's getting the shopping done, it's having to be at different appointments, but internal demands are often a little bit more difficult to put your finger on. One particular internal demand that causes stress, which means that the body's going to use more adrenaline and therefore build up some cortisol, which isn't really good for you, is the whole thing about musts, shoulds, and have tos. Melanie Klein, who was a psychoanalyst in the early part of the 20th century, called it the tyranny of shoulds. And especially in our society today, I think that particular problem is either exactly the same or even more pronounced. And my suggestion is we really need to think clearly and reflect on whether those musts, have tos, and shoulds are in fact things that we want to do and are necessarily the things we should engage with. So it takes a little bit of time to sort of work out which ones I'm going to respond to and which ones I won't. So what's a good way in reducing that adrenaline hit and that cortisol build up in the system? Well, as I said earlier on, one of the ways is to practice some mindfulness. Mindfulness fundamentally helps to reduce the chronic stress response in our system, and therefore we lose that chronic fatigue. It helps you also to focus on what is happening in the present moment. Practicing mindfulness during the holiday season can be greatly beneficial. So it's really taking the time during the holidays by going from moment to moment instead of being completely overwhelmed with all the activities and all the demands that you think are there. So one way to practically do that is to make time for yourself each day to just stop and be present with yourself. Just being instead of doing something. find a spot where you're not likely to be disturbed, where you can sit or lie comfortably for about 5 minutes. You can do longer if you want. Now, if you're a bit like me and you've got an Apple Watch, and I'm not plugging this, but on it is a great app called Breathe. It's fantastic. I've been really, really busy in the last few weeks, which is quite typical. And one of the things that I do regularly, almost on the hour, is to sit back, put the app on, and just do some deep breathing. And it's highly beneficial. So just some food for thought, and I'll be in touch again soon. All the best.
Thank you, Gunter, and thank you to our listeners in our first super short broadcast series, Inspired Change with Gunter Swoboda. Please join us every Wednesday for a new broadcast by visiting www.spreaker.com/show/inspire-change, which will feature all the ways you can listen. If you have comments or suggestions, email producer@studio3hollywood.net. Thank you and have an inspiring day.